We are now joined by Sarah Todd, Utah Jazz beat writer for the Deseret News. Sarah was in Oklahoma City Wednesday night and covered one of the craziest stories in NBA history. And Sarah, you became part of the story as well, something no journalist wants to do, but it happened. First off, you were one of those tested for coronavirus in OKC. Can you give us an update on how you're doing?
Yeah, doing great. I tested negative, and as long as I don't develop symptoms during my 2-week quarantine, then it's all going to look good. So I'm just staying isolated to prevent any possible spread of anything.
That's great news. Can you describe and take us through what that night was like for you personally in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, it was one of the most surreal nights I've ever had, especially in a professional capacity. It was very weird. At first, there was a lot of chaos sort of on the court before the players walked off. We didn't understand why they were walking off. We were told that the game, we were waiting for league confirmation for the game to start. I've been covering the NBA for 8 years, and I've never heard that before, and so we knew something different was happening. And, you know, we tried to get on the phone, text, or call our sources within the team and the league, and no one was saying anything. And so, again, that's another red flag that something is very different, because usually you can get people to answer you or tell you that they'll answer you soon. Yeah. And then once the news came out that it was Rudy Gobert that had tested positive for the COVID-19, then it became, okay, well, I'm in direct contact with this guy on a daily basis. So do I need to be concerned? And there was a lot of non-communication for a few hours, and then eventually we got word that us, the traveling writers, would be tested with the rest of the team. And the night never ended. It was a sleepless one.
What time did you get out of the arena and get somewhere where you could get some rest?
I got out of the arena a little after 1 a.m., and then went to a hotel and started writing and fielding interviews. And so I didn't sleep until the next evening when I actually made it back to Utah.
You did interviews in the middle of the night?
Yeah, I did interviews in the middle of the night, wrote my story, made sure that got published somewhere around 5 in the morning. And then it was just a continuous flood of information. Found out a little after 9 a.m., local time in Oklahoma, that I'd tested negative, and then waited to get word on how we were going to get home, which ended up being on the charter flight with the team. Well,
we're glad you're back safe and you handled that as a true pro. After Rudy Gobert tested positive for the coronavirus, he became a target of a lot of hate and a lot of vitriol, a lot of finger pointing, maybe even from his own teammates, according to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. Do you think this narrative that formed around Rudy is fair?
I do not. I don't think that there's any sort of rift within the team that's not basketball related. And obviously, right now, basketball is taking a sidestep to everything else that's clearly more important. And, you know, in regards to Rudy getting any sort of vitriol online or from fans for, you know, potentially spreading this, it's spreading everywhere. It was only a matter of time that it was going to happen, you know, for someone within the public eye. And I'm not mad at the guy. I mean, he has coronavirus. He's dealing with his own stuff right now. And I just think that it's a little bit silly that, you know, we're pointing fingers at him when possibly him testing positive potentially could have saved a lot of people, because it started a domino effect of shutting down a lot of huge gatherings and keeping people away from each other.
Another thing Jazz fans are wondering about, Adrian Wojnarowski also went on SportsCenter and reported that there's now a rift between Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, and maybe even other players on the roster in Rudy. Is there anything you've seen or heard as a beat writer that would indicate that there's truth to that?
I have not heard anything that would indicate that there's truth to that. Any tension outside of anything that's actual basketball related, and those are normal tensions that happen within the season or within any professional sport. And I mean, obviously there's going to be some frustration for anyone that is positive or maybe in danger for being tested positive for this virus. But I have no information and nothing that would give any credence to the fact that there is rift because of this.
Well, when the NBA returns, we'll have a lot of questions for Rudy and Donovan. Sarah, we're happy you're doing well. Thanks for sharing your story with us, and hope to see you back in the building and back at the arena soon.
Thanks a lot for having me on, guys.